My name is Robyn Scott. I want to give you a little background information, but while I'm talking, I want you to think about what's your favorite photograph and why is it your favorite photograph. I'm a retired high school Spanish teacher. I taught for 30 years in Lima, Ohio. When I retired in 2003, I bought my first digital camera and I've been pretty much hooked ever since. I think it was in my genes. My mother was a professional wedding photographer, but I was never interested in film photography. So since retirement, I've had the good fortune to travel a lot. I've taken lots of travel photos, lots of photography classes, lots of Photoshop classes, and I taught myself to make coffee table books. So 5 years ago, I started making these books to save my pictures and share my pictures with friends and family. And then a couple of years ago, a friend asked me if I would make a book for her. They had taken their granddaughter to Egypt on a vacation, and she wanted to put the pictures in a book to give to her granddaughter as a souvenir. Well, I was really hesitant to use somebody else's pictures. I love working with my pictures, but I didn't know if I would enjoy spending hours working on somebody else's pictures. It turned out I loved it. I had a great time. I got to go to Egypt traveling with them. And I learned a lot about Egypt, about their itinerary, saw beautiful pictures. You'll see some of them. So anyway, after that, a friend of hers who'd been on the same trip saw the book, wanted a copy of the book. Then that woman went on some more trips, wanted copies of the books, and one thing led to another, and I have a business now. I pay sales tax and income tax, so I'm official. So I'm here today to share my knowledge from making the coffee table books and from the classes I've taken with you, and hopefully help you learn to take pictures that tell a great story if you don't already do that. So do you have any questions about me? Good, it's your turn. So tell me about your favorite picture and why it's your favorite picture. Anybody want to start?
I have one.
Okay, Joyce.
I have lots of favorite ones, but I remember one that always outstands and I think about it is an action, something that we did years ago. We were doing maple syrup and my little babies and the playpen and the snow and just things that we did. I think that those are always my favorite pictures. Not photographs of them. Portraits.
Okay, so the action. Yeah, action's important. That tells a huge part of the story.
So I always remember that day because it was special.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Julie.
I had a chance to think about this question, and there is a picture of my son on his wedding day walking to the ceremony with his sisters on either side of him, and it's just a candid picture of them both just giving him a ration. And it's just absolutely the most wonderful picture. I have it framed on my bedside at home and at the cottage. And it's just, nobody knew their picture was being taken, and it was wonderful.
I've actually seen that picture.
Yes.
I mean, it has a lot of emotion in
Yes.
it, but the lighting was really
Yes.
good too. Yeah.
The lighting was good. It's just a great
But
picture.
there was a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
So action, emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Who else has a picture? Okay, go ahead.
Angel's Farm, Angell.
Okay.
Rick probably knows it, but it's over there near Harbor Springs. It's just the most gorgeous farm, and I caught it at a lush moment when the grass was 4 or 5 inches purely green. And there was a girl, actually she was focusing her Nikon, but she looked like Christina's World. I mean, it was the perfect placement, wonderful background. You could see Lake Michigan beyond, and it was just, it's a wonderful picture.
Oh, it sounds.
Not
Will you
distributed.
share it with me? Will you email it to
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
I'd love to see it. I'm giving you a handout. You'll have my
I will,
handout.
I will.
Oh, I'd love to see it. It sounds great. Would the picture have been as good if the girl weren't in it?
No.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I have. Leave people in. You know, for years, I waited till the people were out. And sometimes leaving the people in, it makes a big difference.
Well, I'm a newspaper guy, so
Oh.
we always had to have people in the picture.
Right.
Or
Right.
it
It wouldn't work. See, I love landscape pictures, and seriously, for years I took landscape pictures and waited till the people were out. Okay, thanks.
I took a picture on the balcony in the Atlantic Ocean of my granddaughter, and there happened to be a rainbow that came right down and touched her head.
Ooh.
So that,
So it
I
was
mean, you
yeah,
can't
it was
beat
a
that.
side-
Nature
A
helps.
side picture with the ocean and, oh, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, thanks, that's nice.
I have one, we were on safari in Africa, and I have the lion, I really captured almost just his head and the front part of his body, and it blew up, and it's,
And that's one thing that I don't have a sample of it, but to fill the frame, when you take something like that and fill the frame, and that's another thing, you know, when I mean, old school was, oh, you could never cut anybody's head off. But now, you know, I mean, fill the
and I
frame.
really got just.
Oh, that,
almost.
how
just-
exciting. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Anybody else?
I have one.
Okay, Rick.
When my son was about 2 months old, and he's laying on my lap, you know, we're out camping someplace, and it's just one of those that always is with you. You know, just the two of us sitting there in the grass. It's just perfect.
Yeah, the emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about photoshopping?
What about photoshopping? I'm going to ask you that later on.
I
but
use it a lot.
I love it. I mean, I'm a firm believer. You know, there are people, there's the naysayers, like, you
Right.
know, a picture isn't really a picture unless it's what you took.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in Photoshop. I mean, why not? It's the technology that we have access to today is how I feel about it. So,
And you can compose so much better.
yeah. I like the straightening. I have to use this, when I make my books for other people, I straighten a lot of pictures. But I mean, I like a lot of the tools. How about the rest of you? Let's just talk about it right now since he brought it up. Do any of the rest of you edit your pictures? Yeah.
But I've never used Photoshop.
Yeah, you don't, what do you use?
I have a few things that come with my camera and
Yeah.
such, you know, so it's basic
But,
editing.
you know, sometimes that's all you need. I mean, I've taken Photoshop classes, you probably know this, with layers and masks, and I use it on my really special photographs, but when I'm making a book and using somebody else's pictures with 200 pictures, I can't do that, you know.
I've
So-
used Microsoft Picture.
Yeah, and I've heard that's good.
What about Corel?
I don't know anything about Corel, but I know people who use it and really like it. Are you familiar
I
with
don't.
Corel? Yeah.
I have both, because I read an article that Corel was the most user-friendly.
Okay, well, that's a good reason to use it then.
Taking all the time it
Uh-huh.
takes to do it all.
Okay,
But I took a film picture
yeah.
years ago in Australia, and it came out like a Monet.
That,
It was water lilies under the water.
that's great.
So it was-
That's great. Okay. Pat?
But I'm a landscape person.
Yeah. Do you have a picture?
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah, I know, that's why I'm
the-
asking you.
I'll tell you, I couldn't answer this question. I used to own a children's bookstore, and people would always say, what's your favorite children's
Okay.
book? Well, there is no favorite to me of
Good.
a children's book, and there is no favorite picture. There's many, many pictures that depict certain times in my children's lives, certain times in my life, and all of them are so extraordinary that I don't think I would be able to choose one. There may be at any particular time one,
right.
but it's not one for all time. It's
Right,
just one
right.
for that time.
Well, I understand
Right.
that, and we probably all feel that way too. There's a lot of good, you know, a lot of favorite pictures. So with that, I'll show you my favorite picture, and like Pat said, it is just of the moment. This is my grandbaby, and she's 15 months now, so this was taken a couple, you know, hundreds of pictures ago, but it's still one of my favorite pictures. The teacher in me has a handout for you. We can't do anything without a handout, so.
Weren't you supposed to ask one of us to pass them?
No, that's all right,
Participation.
I'd like to talk about cameras for a minute too. How many of you have PhD cameras?
What's the PhD?
Push here, dummy. Well, I have one, I have a fancy one, and I have a PhD, and I'll tell you what, sometimes the PhD takes just as good a pictures as the other ones. My pictures from Spain that you're gonna see were taken with a little point and